everyone, I'm going to be analyzing chapters 7, 8, and 9 of Their Eyes You're Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. Let's start off with the first question. In chapter 7, we learn that Janie has been married to Joe for 17 years. Why do you think she stays with him so long? If you were Janie, would you stay with Joe? I think Janie stays with him because it's implied that she feels like she's too old to run away. She doesn't feel beautiful anymore. Like, what's the point? She's used to it. I feel like her mind is like elsewhere, but her body was just so used to the routine that she's almost numb to it. I've heard of a lot of people, like domestic violence survivors or people that stay in like really toxic relationships, like they become numb to the toxicity and they just don't want to leave anymore, because they feel like they're not gonna get anywhere without them. I think in the case of Janie, she is in a sense like relying on Joe, or at least that's why she stayed with Joe. She started with him for benefits. So if I was Janie, would I stay with him? I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, it's very easy to judge. It's like a lot of people are like, why would you stay with someone if, they treat you bad, they're abusive? But like I said, I think it's very easy to judge unless you are in their shoes. So I generally don't know what I would do. It just really depends on the situation. Of course, in Janie's mind, she's gotten to that point that she's stuck in a sense. Second question. In chapter 8, what do we discover about Joe and Janie's relationship? Do they seem to know each other, see each other? What attracted them to each other in the beginning of the relationship? I really think that throughout this relationship, there was false implications that they had of each other. I feel like, Joe felt that Janie was going to be this submissive wife, whereas whereas Janie was like, I want to leave Logan. I need to get out now. He seems like he's going to give me everything I need, so I just want to get away from that life. So it was very like they each wanted something out of each other, but they didn't really know each other or see each other in this case until Joe is lying in his deathbed. They finally kind of tell each other off about what they didn't like about each other. And Joe was like, you were always so inconsiderate. You never seemed to care or appreciate anything that I did for you. And then Janie kind of like throws back like, well, like you never, listened. And that's why we are where we are, like I feel like we would have been very happy if you would listen to anybody, but he didn't. He was full of ego and he was like the biggest voice, I think that's what she says. Like, he only heard his voice. Like, his voice of reason was the right one. He was like, my way or the highway kind of attitude. Next question. In chapter 9, why is Janie so averse to being married? So she feels like she doesn't want to get married right away because this new freedom is something so different for her that she is like, I'm not trying to get married right away, which is completely understandable, I feel. I mean, like, look at the first question. She's been married for 17 years. I think if anybody was to be married for someone that was such a toxic relationship, it's something so different and it feels almost like baby steps. Like, let me see what this new freedom is going to give me. I'm not going to jump into the same boat when I don't even know what I want yet. So I think that's why she's like, I don't want to marry. I'm okay right now. Last question. At this point in the story, what kind of character arc do you think Janie has? Does chapter 9 represent a change in her character arc? I think the character arc that Janie had in the entire relationship was, what is it called? A flat character arc. I feel like she was just emotionally stoic, like how it says. It was just like there was no building. She was just very monotone, unfortunately, for the entire time that she was married to Joe, until she slowly starts realizing that she's not ugly. She still can find someone. She still can find love without anybody's help on her own. Which answers the next question. Does chapter 9 represent a change? Once Jo dies, absolutely. I think she goes through a transformational arc. She becomes very different. She realizes that she's gonna find love whether or not she feels supported by anybody. Like, she's gonna get there, like her nanny, her mom were never encouraging of her freedom. So, she burns the head rags that Jo forced her to wear, which says a lot about she's done. Like, I'm done kind of being this submissive wife. That's not why I left Logan, and it's not what I'm going to do anymore. So I think it's a very positive transformational arc. But yeah, thank you for watching my video.